Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2000 series of the International Forum for Promoting Homeopathy. I'm Arya. I'm a third-year student from Adhirashramam NSS Homeopathic Medical College, Kottayam, and I'll be your moderator today. Today with us, we have our guest, Dr. Shreya Mehta. She's an assistant professor at the Department of Organon from Rajkot Homeopathic Medical College, Parallel University. And today she'll be talking to us about one of the most faced headaches, which is migraines, riding through the highs and lows of Maya Mehta. The dice is all yours.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, first of all, IFPH, to provide me this platform of presenting my case. And I would also like to thank my principal, Dr. Hitat Mehta from RHMC Parul University, and Dr. BP Panda, who is also our HOD and professor of Organon PG department. All of you people have really encouraged us and guided us for providing this big platform of allowing me to present my case. So cutting it short, I shall start sharing my presentation. Just let me know if I am properly audible and my screen is properly being seen by everyone. All right.
Everything fine. You can go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So my today's topic is on migraine, riding the highs and lows, a homeopathic case journey. So before we dig into the case, I shall briefly discuss about what exactly migraine is. It is basically a one-sided headache, which accompanies with nausea and vomiting and a sensitivity to light and sound and smell. All right. So this is the common presentation of most of our cases who comes with migraine. And along with this, migraine is actually a very hot favorite topic these days. Mainly why? Because its triggers include stress, which is one of the major component reason why youngsters suffer from migraine every now and then. Hormonal changes, fasting, weather changes, insufficient sleep, especially applying to the Gen Zs, the alcohol consumption, smoking, exposure to light. Now, summer is actually another major reason. Exposure to sun, where all the migraineurs have got a lasting sense of headache, late night waking, that is night watching, certain food factors, and exercise or even lack of exercise. All these are trigger factors which are responsible for migraine. Usually, migraine is classified under two categories. One is migraine with aura and without aura. But in clinical, majority cases that we face in homeopathy are migraine without aura, which is ranking statistically to 75% of the cases, and migraine with aura involves 20 to 25% of cases. Now, basically, what is aura? Let me just describe the entire stage of migraine. It is basically divided mainly into four stages. The first stage is of prodrome, where, before the headache, before couple of hours or days, which would be, from 3 days to 1 to 2 days, there is a stage of prodrome. In prodrome, mainly patient will complain of, feeling very sleepy, dizzy. They have sudden food cravings. They feel fatigued, nauseatic, all these mood swings just before the actual headache phase. Next phase, the second phase is of pure headache, which starts from 4 hours and the duration can extend to 2 to 3 days at max. So during headache phase, obviously the patient will complain of either one side of the headache, or it will be accompanied with nausea, vomiting. It will be accompanied with a sensitivity to light, noise, smell, and they have usually pulsating and throbbing kind of headache. So this is what is their headache phase. And after the headache, after the banging headache for 4 hours to nearly 3 days, they face a post-drome phase, which is the after effect of headache. And during after effect, which is also called the post-drome phase, one feels very lethargic. Their energy levels are so low that they are absolutely fatigued. And for next couple of days, it would be 2-3 days on an average, they would feel to do nothing. They would not want anybody to, interact with. Their concentration levels go absolutely low. Now, these are usually migraine without aura. These are the three phases. But if in case a person has got a phase of aura, then it would involve the four phases, which is prodrome, and then it is followed by aura. Now, aura usually lasts from 5 minutes to 60 minutes, which is max to max 1 hour. Within 1 hour, it will naturally subside, and then the phase of headache and then post-drome will start. So in aura, what usually happens is the person will complain about, before every phase of headache or episode of headache, I'm having these flashes in front of my eyes. I feel my visions are blurry, or I can't see absolutely, or there is some funny kind of a feeling, a sensation. They are very hypersensitive to touch during their aura phase. And mostly there is sensory aura compared to motor aura. So these is seen only in 20 to 25% of the population. So these are basically 4 phases of migraine. The clinical features. Next is about his pathophysiology. Now, why as a homeopath we need to understand pathophysiology of every disease? The reason is that exactly where our medicine is acting. How is our medicine going to help the patient? So that is why it is very important for us to know what is the pathophysiology of migraine. So here in this case of migraine, say a patient is triggered with any of the factors. It could be stress, it could be hormonal disturbance, it could be because of sun exposure, fasting, or night watching, or anything. What exactly happens is these trigger factors are going to disturb our homeostasis. Okay, once this gets imbalanced, it is going to activate the hypothalamus, a area where the brain controls the centers. It becomes overactive. The hypothalamus becomes overactive, and when hypothalamus becomes overactive, it starts giving a warning signal. All the symptoms which we see in a prodrome stage from 4 hours to 1 to 2 days, the patient starts experiencing all those symptoms like mood changes, yawning, sudden food cravings, nausea, mood swings, sleepiness. What happens after hypothalamus get activated? It later on releases certain chemical transmitters. Okay, the serotonin levels go down. When the serotonin levels go down, the brain gets extra sensitive. Even to minor triggers, the brain goes extra sensitive too. And phase of aura, if happens in some of the patients, then aura phase is seen. Otherwise, directly you can just see the phase of headache. The trigeminal nerve gets activated because of this, and the person gets very, very sensitive to pain. It is when this trigeminal nerve which gets activated, it will just uh, activate the pain signals. It will release the chemical mediators, and that will result into inflammation, as a result of which there will be vasodilatation. And because of this vasodilatation, what will happen is the person will start feeling that headache sensation, the typical headache phase where he doesn't want to socialize. He just shuts down in darkness, and he gets sensitive to either light, sound, smell. He might meet with nausea, vomiting, and all of it. And after this phase is over, he will encounter with a post-dromer phase, which is also called migraine hangover. He might feel fatigue. He will have difficulty in concentrating in next couple of days, and later on his entire phase of migraine will settle down. This is what usually happens, and then the brain takes time to adjust in its environment, and which would overall take a couple of 2 to 3 days after prodromal phase to get back to normal. Now, this is the pathophysiology of migraine. So, what about investigations? Usually, migraine patients, wherever they come to us in OPD, their clinical history is sufficient enough to diagnose that, yes, this is a case of migraine. Apart from it, in order to rule out whether it is headache because of some other cause, it could be because of hypertension, it could be because of sinusitis or so, then you need to rule out with the help of CT scan, MRI, or blood test if required, in order to rule out other systemic disorders. What is the treatment in allopathy usually? First stage is they always prefer giving painkillers. Most of our patients will get relieved taking painkillers. They'll just pop up, and commonly used are ibuprofen, naproxen, and all of it. Now, what this does, these painkillers will just result into vasoconstriction, and this will overall help the person temporarily to relieve their head pain. But once the NSAIDs won't work, the allopath will switch to one step ahead, which is triptan group of drugs. Now, triptans is given when, the person has got moderate to severe intensity of headache, where even painkillers haven't worked. What they do is they will just cut off that pain signal, and the person will feel pain-free within a couple of hours. Now, even if triptan doesn't work, then they move ahead into ergot alkaloids. And even if that doesn't work, which is in case of chronic migraine, where a person is suffering from migraine for constant 15 days of time in every month, then at that point of time a steroid is given. That is something which is very crucial for someone to handle with. But this is what the allopathic line of treatment is, and this is the catch where our patients turn up to homeopathy. Why? So that uh, uh, they don't have to take these painkillers. They get quick relief in their intensity, in their severity, and they don't have to time and again face the recurrency of migraine. So this is when patients turn to us, turn to homeopaths, because these allopathy medicines will definitely help manage the headache attacks, but for a long time relief they need something like homeopathy. So now, let us begin with the case study of migraine. Till now, I have just discussed briefly about what exactly migraine is. So my case mainly is scrutinize under these parameters. The first thing is chief complaint. It gets very important to take a detailed case history of a person, including evaluating each and every symptom, the intensity of the patient with which one comes with. After taking the chief complaint and even associated complaint, we ask about the physical generals of the patient. After that, the nature about him. And after getting the whole crux of the patient, we try to analyze the case, basically compartmentalizing all the whole case into physical generals, physical particular, and then the mind. After that, you have to evaluate the case. Depending upon the intensity with which the patient has given us the case, we just try to find out what are the 3 plus 2 plus and 1 plus symptoms of the case, and then we form a totality, which is forming the main crux of the patient. On the basis of totality, we try to repertorize it with the help of softwares and keeping along with materia medica in our hand. Later on, we differentiate one remedy with the other, whichever comes closer, and then we finally come to a conclusion and give one remedy at a time to see, wait and watch how the patient does with our one single remedy. So this is how I have worked on this case. So let us now dig in with the case in detail. So today we are going to discuss about a case of 21-year-old female, a Hindu female. She is an unmarried girl who is studying in 4th BHMS. She is a homeopath herself, and she is pursuing her bachelor's in Rajkot. And she came to me with a complaint of headache, which she had faced since 5 years. Now she says that, she is meeting with this complaint of migraine every once a week, and the duration of every attack is for 1 to 2 days. Usually, whenever this headache begins, it starts very slowly, and the duration of the headache is also very slow. Basically, there is insidious onset, and the pathology which develops is gradual. It comes very, very slowly. And she complains that whenever she has headache, it begins from forehead and occiput. These are the two main sensitive areas for her. And she always has left-sided headache in majority of the attacks. That is why 3 plus marking is given over here. See, marking is very important, especially being an organon teacher. I would play emphasis on all these pointers where, evaluation is much needed right from the chief complaint itself, because this will eventually help us in analyzing the intensity with which the patient brings us the complaint, as well as it will help us in follow-up to understand whether the patient is doing well or not with our medicines. Then she says that, she always has a pulsating pain, which is ranked out of 10, 5 to 6. no nausea, but vomiting is in moderate amount. Sometimes she has vomiting, sometimes she doesn't have. She is very sensitive to light and noise during the attacks. She has got aggravation from sun, summer, during the night time, from fasting, and all these are in 2+ amount. And occasionally, very rarely, from night watching and from perfume, she might have aggravation in her complaints. Food, season, and time she does not get affected with, but she feels relieved after vomiting. Sometimes, 50-50 case. She feels better from heart pressure, from consuming tea, and from sleeping, basically from rest. On being asked concomitant, she did not have any concomitant along with her chief complaints. Apart from her migraine, she also had an associated complaint where she said that she had marked fatigue. She always used to feel very lethargic and weak. And that complaint she had since 1 to 2 years. Now, just imagine she is 21-year-old youngster and she is complaining that she feels sleepy the whole day. As soon as she wakes up in the morning, she always feels uneasy. She doesn't like to, go to college, or at least she requires 1 hour to get active, to get going to the work. And after getting ready, very slowly, after taking 1 hour, 2 hours of getting ready, she moves to her college. But till then, it is very difficult for her to, feel energized. And this is a complaint which she faces daily since 1 to 2 years. So this also became very important for me because she is very young. And yes, on being asked for file and records, every investigations were normal. She was not undergoing through any iron deficiency or so. So her reports were also normal. So now this is something which she faces every early morning. As soon as she wakes up, her body will pain. And then over a period of time, by the evening time, she feels comparatively better. So this was something important. A second number of complaints that she had along with. In past history, at the age of 10 years, she had tonsillitis, but she did not operate it. She just took allopathy for a week and it got settled. And in family history, her mother has hypertension, father has nasal polyp, and brother has acne. Now, why this past history, family history, chief complaint, mental of patient is very important, because this will also help us in ruling out what current miasm the person is in, which I will reveal at the end of the case. Her physical general says that her appetite is moderate. She takes 2 proper meals in a day. Her thirst in every season is approximately 1 to 2 liters. She desires salty 3+. Why 3+? Because she adds to the salt. Everyone is taking moderate amount of salt. Mama is preparing the meals and everybody is requiring moderation. In moderation, it's proper. But she is someone who requires added on table salt with each and everything that she consumes. That is why 3+. She likes having spicy food, but not as much as salt is required. She is very aversion to milk as well as sweet, and she doesn't have any intolerance or addiction to. Now, stool. She is constipated since 6 years and she is on Isabgol once a week. She requires to take this. On asking the complaint, she said that she has hard stools and she passes every alternate day. That is, every second day she goes to pass stool. And this complaint she has since 6 years. And even after that, passing every alternate day, she has no urge to pass stool. It always comes out with straining and she has to wait long, approximately 10 to 15 minutes. So this also becomes important. She doesn't have a complaint of pain or bleeding during the constipation. Urine is normal, the perspiration is scanty, and mainly she perspires on forehead without any smell or staining on the clothes. She is sexually inactive and is unmarried. Sleep, she has a sound sleep of 7 to 8 hours and she sleeps on either side. She occasionally has dreams, but it is always about the routine. And her thermal state is hot. Nothing specific observed in her gynecological history. Her menstrual cycle is quite regular, which is on an average of 25 to 28 days of cycle. And it goes for 4 days. The consistency is fluid with clots, and the color is also maroon without any foul odor. Now comes the mind. Now this becomes very important. Those who are ready to ask me questions needs to mark down their pointers, because the life space is important in this case. Now, see, she is someone who is pursuing her master's, and she says that she is very bold, very carefree girl. Whatever comes to her mind, she is ready. She is vocal about expressing herself. She doesn't, hold her expressions. She doesn't hold her opinions. She is someone, whosoever is in front of her, regardless of the age, she is very vocal about her opinion, and she doesn't hold back her emotions. So sometimes, even her classmates have to just hold her back, saying that, if it is teacher in front of you, then it is better not to be very expressive, otherwise you might end up into some danger, you know but she says that, it is better to speak whatever comes to your mind, so that I don't overthink later on. It is better, to express myself, to put my point and not wait for the right opportunity, because until then, otherwise I will just keep on thinking that, what if I could have told this or that to this person. So she is basically someone who is very vocal. Later on, I asked her to describe more and more about herself. So she says that, she is someone who is very ease, very light-hearted. She likes to mingle up with her friends. She likes to plan in her group, and she likes that, everybody follows her plans and her instructions. If any plan by her friends is cancelled, then she really wouldn't enjoy that. She would feel really very bad about it. She would retaliate with her friends that, why have you cancelled the plan? Everything was going really very fine. Then you should just not cancel it at the end moment. That disappoints her, and she again gets verbal about it. Apart from that, she also said that she is living with her parents and a younger brother. So whenever her younger brother asks for her help, whether it is in studies or some other household chores, she will always find an excuse. She will always dodge him, that, you can do your homework on your own. If you have a problem, then, you can just manage on your own. You are a grown up. So basically, it's like an elder sister usually tries to help. She is someone who will just seek skip away in order to avoid that responsibility, or say in order to avoid that burden of, being stuck with a brother or a friend or anyone around, wherein, you have to just be responsible or accountable to, help somebody. She doesn't want to commit in that sense. So she will always say that, okay, I will just help you out in some time. She will just pass the time, so that, she doesn't have to help her friends or brother. And many a times, even if a friend who she is very close to, she likes to hang out with them, but if their friends want her at the peak hour, then she will just try to dodge the ball, and she will say that, okay, if I'll be free, I will try to help you, otherwise let us see, or she will just give some excuse. So this is what spontaneously the patient is trying to tell about her, trying to share about her nature. So basically, she does this without any sort of guilt. She is fine. She feels that, this is very much me. This is very much how I am. I trying to dodge the ball. I trying to avoid certain duties or responsibilities. She further on being asked whether, she feels stressed about something, or she feels sad about something, then she further adds to it that, she usually is not emotional about anything. Like, even if she sees any beggar on the street, she does not feel like helping or donating or, anything else. Even if it is her mother who is working so hard at the home, her mother is a housewife. So, mama is working, but the daughter is just sitting and chilling. She doesn't have that inclination or readiness to, help her mother or to help even anyone else. She sees that, I'm comparatively very insensitive when I compare myself with other people. If you see a very emotional scene, people feel teary. If you see somebody in a very bad condition, somebody pelagic, then your heart gets touched. But I really don't find that connection. And it is not only in comparison with the strangers. It is also when my family members, if somebody dies, or even if there is any disturbance around me, I just feel very normal about it. My emotions are, not going up and down. I'm very neutral about it. So she herself says that, I'm comparatively emotionless, or maybe a little insensitive compared to others. I really don't feel any emotions. So that was something very striking. On asking more about it, she could not recall. So this is what I got. Later on, she says that, another important trait about my nature is that, if I am in my zone, if I am in my comfort zone, it is better that people don't disturb me, bother me. I like to be at a very peaceful place where, there is no disturbance around me, there is no noise around me. So even if I was sitting on your waiting room, in your waiting room, and there was a very soft, mild music playing in my waiting room background, she was like, I was just sitting next to the speaker. I did not like that. I even don't like that music. And she says that basically she is extrovert. She is very friendly, especially to her close ones. But with the children, with a lot of noise around, she doesn't enjoy that. She doesn't prefer that. Either headache begins, or even if a headache is not triggered with noise, she in general is a person who, doesn't prefer too much of sound, too much of crowd. Even soft music disturbs her. So that was another striking thing. And yes, another important point that she discussed was about her nature, that she wants things her way. Like if she has planned for something, she wants everybody to follow that plan. If it gets cancelled at the moment, in the end moment, she does not like that. She likes to be the leader, she likes to lead everyone. But if in case she doesn't become the prefect or say the CRLR of the class, then she doesn't like that. So basically, even if whatever happens regarding her dislikeness, she will be vocal about it. She is not someone to, just sit quiet and be submissive about it. She will be very vocal. She will fight. She will counter each and every one, regardless of who the authority is in front of her. So basically, in that way, she was very retaliatory. So this thing has been observed not only in college in front of teachers, but also at home in front of her mother. If a mother is trying to explain her logics, her arguments that, girls should learn certain household chores, she will compare it with her brother, that, my brother is not being taught anything about household chores, then why am I supposed to do all these things? Why not my brother? So she always has a counter, she always has questions, and she cannot easily be confined with. You require to deal with her logically, otherwise she is someone who will just, counter back, and she will ask for more logical answers from you. And yes, she also says that, because she's very thin, lean and thin and fizzy, so many a times her relatives would say that, you need to gain weight. So she will always be someone who will boldly say that, just think about your children rather than pointing out on how I look and how I appear. So regardless of anything, and rather she also teaches her mother that because her mother is very submissive, unlike her. So she will also say that, if you are facing any such comments, it is better, mama, that you go and reply to the relatives. Why are you holding back? So that is what she will teach her mother, that you require to, just speak up. You can't be submissive for whole of your life. And when it comes to aversion to children, like I said earlier, she likes children, but only when they are quiet. If they are making noise, then she is someone who will just ask them to move away. It is better that you keep a long distance from me. She can't tolerate. For the sense, she even can't tolerate presence of her brother. And yes, regarding indolence, she is someone who can sleep 24 by 7. That is what she has given it in her case. If at all she is working today, she is going for college, it is all because her parents are there to push. Uh, whether it is about studying, whether it is about performing her household chores, whether it is about going out, her father will just nag her that go out, do this and that activity, go and bring some grocery shopping and all. She has to be pushed for each and everything. Otherwise, she is not going to go on her own. She is someone who will say that, it is better I sit at home, chill, and relax in my comfort zone. And I'm absolutely fine being a potato couch rather than being very active. And she enjoys this. And just even compare this with her physical associated complaint. She feels fatigued at the age of 21. And this is a complaint since 1 to 2 years. And she herself is saying that my body pains at this age. Little work I do, my body starts paining. And that is what is reflected even at a mental level, that, it is always a big task to ask her to do something. So today, if I'm studying, it is all because of my parents. Otherwise, I would be someone who would even not go to a college. So that is how laziness dominates her in general. And she is someone who is extrovert, but in her close group. But otherwise, she is someone who is very choosy, very selective about people, about being socially active. Yeah, for the formality's sake, she will say hi, hello, and meet all her relatives and all of it. But otherwise, she is someone who just enjoys quietness and who enjoys hanging out with friends. So a typical 21-year-old youngster. So this was all in all overall picture of her nature. Now coming to the analysis of the case. Here I have just partitioned the whole case into physical general, physical particular, and mental general. So in mental general, main points that I have taken is selfishness, indolence, unsympathetic, sensitive to noise, and dictatorial. In physical general, desires for salt and spicy, aversion to milk sweet, constipation every alternate day, weakness in morning on waking, hot, and thirst is moderate. Physical particular involves pulsating headache, left-sided from forehead to occiput, vomiting during headache. And during headache, there is sensitiveness to light and noise and all the aggravating and ameliorating points. Now, physical general, physical particular, and mental general. The analysis will involve the whole crux of the case. Okay, so whatever the important parameters have been marked in the case is compartmentalized in three parts. Now, next slide, this is of the evaluation. This becomes really very important. Why? Because marking 3 plus, 2 plus, and 1 plus, depending upon what patient, in what intensity it has given, this will eventually help us to identify with the follow-up of the case, whether our medicine has worked or it has not worked. All right. And this will also eventually help us in repertorization. Usually, on personal experience, what I put in my repertorial sheet is 3 plus and 2 plus indication. And even if I have got 3 plus majority, then I will always start with repertorizing all the symptoms which are 3 plus. Here in this case, I have majority of the 3 plus symptoms. And also it involves physical general and physical particulars, which are 3 plus. That is why I will repertorize these first and try to see what medicines I have in hand. And later on, 2 plus and 1 plus will help me to differentiate one medicine from the other, depending on the case. So this case was rock solid. So all 3 plus symptoms were taken. Okay. This is the totality of symptom where selfishness, indolence, unsympathetic, sensitive to noise, desire salt, weakness, waking on morning, constipation every alternate day, headache left side. Now, why these symptoms were taken in totality and rest of them were just kept at a subconscious level? Why they were kept for just DD? Very important thing. Yes, these are all 3 plus. Along with this forms the crux of the patient. This forms the whole case. Okay. The selfishness, which is outrightly there. When the patient herself is throwing the symptoms, when the person herself is in the state of awareness, saying and giving examples, where her selfishness has been reflected not only at a professional level, but also at personal parameter, not only with the friends, but also with the brother and with the parents. Her selfishness is seen at a places where, she herself describes that, she is someone who will just think about herself, her comfort zone. She doesn't like to, extend herself for help. Even if asked for help, she is someone who will, dodge the ball. She will ask someone else to, okay, someone else will come to your help. I may not be needed at this particular period of time. And she prefers that, the things go according to her way. It is me before you. So this is what is selfishness. Okay, where you are thinking only about yourself. You are self-centered, and then others go in the background. They become your second priority, but it is first you. Okay, so that's why selfishness. Indolence. This patient had given number of examples saying that, I wouldn't attend the college. I wouldn't even have a degree if my parents wouldn't have pushed me to. I wouldn't approach my mother for a helping hand in household chores. Even if mama is doing her work, it is absolutely fine. Doesn't make a difference to me. Okay. I am someone who can sleep and can chillax 24 by 7. This is what she says. So laziness is at its peak. What we take in totality is something which is abnormal in patient, which is abnormally high, which needs to be corrected. And that is what I have taken in the totality. She says that she is unsympathetic. Now just imagine that, when we see a beggar, we see someone pledgic, when we see our mother working, but we are young, we can help our growing mama, we can help our father in other work. She is someone who is like absolutely fine. She herself admits that, I feel less emotional, less connected, little insensitive on her part. That is why unsympathetic was. She doesn't get easily moved by all these things, where majority people would feel something. That is why unsympathetic. Then she says she's sensitive to noise. Now, see, sensitive to noise is also a common symptom of migraine. During her migraine, also she is very sensitive to noise. But apart from keeping this migraine symptom, she herself in nature also explains that she likes a calm, a peaceful place. A soft music playing in my clinic was also a noise for her. She avoids crowd. She avoids any area which would just irritate her even a little bit. So this is very characteristic of her. This is the time when she doesn't have migraine. Keeping apart the migraine attack, then also she is very sensitive to noise. That is why sensitive to noise 3 plus was taken. Okay, all these are peculiar to her. She desires salt, adding up the salt in every food that she gets, and this is on the regular basis. That is why weakness every morning on waking, past 1 to 2 years, without any pathology detected. So this has become chronic. This has become a daily routine of her. She has to be robust. She has to be, like get going. But she is someone, a youngster who is still, very weak, laid back attitude. And as soon as she wakes up, she is complaining about body pain. Like, come on, she is just 21. Imagine what will happen if she continues with this at the age of 60. Constipation every alternate day. Every second day she passes stool, no urge, hard stool, and she has to wait for a long time. And this complaint she has past 6 years. No allopathy taken when a subgul is off and on taken. So that is why this also becomes very important parameter to see in my follow-up. So I am basically now not only dealing with migraine, but the second complaint that I need to look for is the fatigue that she feels every day, and the third complaint is the constipation. So now these are the three main complaints I will look for in my follow-ups, whether all these three complaints have been dealt with my constitutional medicine or not. And then the left-sided headache. Majority of the headache attack that she has is always on the left-hand side, and rarely it is seen on right. Okay, so that is the totality of the symptoms that I have taken. And on the basis of this, I repertorized it using home path repertory. Complete and Kent repertory has been used for. And this is the range of medicine that you can see. And now, what I usually do in my practice is that I do take thermal state into consideration. And that is why for my differentiation of medicine, Netramure, Platina, and Lachesis. These were the three hot remedies. The patient covers the thermal state hot, and that is why I have differentiated these three main remedies here. Okay, so first let us discuss about what were the pointers of Platina and what was present in my case. Now, Platina, see, now these differentiation, I have taken it not only from repertorization software, but along with this, few materia medica has also been kept in hand, where I have referred to Kent repertory, George Witholkal's Essence of Materia Medica. Along with that, I have also referred to Morrison, all right, and Dr. Rajan Shankaran's Soul of Remedy. These four books I usually keep in hand to understand the theme of the patient. So when it comes to Platina, these people usually feel that inner sense of humiliation and low self-worth. And that is why, in order to compensate with this feeling, they have this sense of superiority. They need to show that superiority about themselves. They look down upon others. They have this desire of, dominating everyone else. They're very ambitious. They want recognition. They want fame. They're very sensitive to insults, and they are egoistic, dominating, and haughty in behavior. But whereas when you compare this Platina picture with my present case, then this girl has got effortless superiority. Okay. She is someone who doesn't have to prove it. It just comes naturally to her. Another example I just forgot to share about this case was that one time she travels through bus to her college, and she has her fixed reserved seat. Once there was a junior girl who was just sitting on her regular seat, and she just gave her a tough look, and she asked her to just move away, and that was one look was sufficient enough for that junior to get back off, and she had to just leave that seat. And this really shows that she is there, she is someone who can without any effort she can just dominate someone. She doesn't have any sort of insecurity about herself. Though having thin, lean physique, she is someone who is very confident, carries herself out, verbal about herself. If any contradiction comes to her, she faces it confidently, without any pride. Okay. She has no ambition in life. She herself says that she is a couch potato. She requires a push with every physical or mental activity, and she doesn't want to prove anything. These 21-year-old, when you ask about their ambition in their life, you obviously ask them, what do you want to become? She is like, okay, I'm just pursuing my bachelor's. Now let us see how life takes a turn, or maybe I'll get married. So without any ambition, unlike Platina. And yes, dominating as she is, which also Platina covers. Next thing is about Netromure. Now, Netromure is someone who is very vulnerable. Okay, they have this fear of getting hurt. There is a theme of having grief. They have deep empathy. They're very emotional and sensitive people, very sensible people, and they guard their relationship. It is all about relationship and running behind it, holding on to their relations very tightly. But she is very casual about everything, about her relationship as well. Netromure people are very responsible. They are guilt ridden. Okay, and they cannot be emotionally cruel intentionally. In this case, what we see is that she is very emotionally insensible, maybe a little indifferent to people. There is lack of empathy. There is no silent grief here. Rather, she is someone who is very outspoken. She is very assertive, and no emotional hurt is shaping her personality. She avoids people as per her convenience. Okay, and she is not very emotional like Netromure. Rather, she is more about herself. She is more self-centered, unlike Netromure. Then comes Lachesis, my third differentiating medicine, where Lachesis is covering all the points of domination, assertiveness, being vocal. She won't tolerate any sort of restrictions on herself. Okay. She will be very blunt, very outspoken. She will retaliate on the spot. And she is immediately someone who will just confront. She will not wait for the moment, for the right moment to speak. And she feels very irritable when she is forced to do this thing right now itself. No, she will do it at her own pace, and if there is mood to do. She is very impulsive. Quickly she will react to whatever is in her surrounding, and there is lack of sympathy and reactivity, fighting back attitude. So on the basis of my understanding, the prescription was Lachesis 200. One single dose was given for 1 week. Okay. And along with this, I had asked her to avoid staying hungry because she is a bachelor student. Her college timings are like 9 to 4, and she eats just junk during her recess time. And there is irregular pattern of eating and sleeping habits. So that is why I asked her that first try to improve your sleep cycle, try to have nutritious food. Otherwise, this might hinder our treatment. We can just ask these Gen Zs to try and make an effort, but otherwise we have to surely give a medicinal dose. So now this was my follow-up. After 1 week, she had one episode of headache. whose intensity out of 10 was 2 to 3. Now, that is why out of 10, the intensities becomes very important to understand whether, our medicine is on the track or not. And she had this pain for only 4 to 5 hours. It just subsided naturally and she required no painkillers. But yes, morning fatigue was still present. I just tried to wait and watch and see what happens next. So I gave her SL for 1 week. After 1 week, she again had one episode of headache with milder intensity. And it subsided as soon as she went to sleep. She was fine with it. Her fatigue had also reduced by 30%, but the constipation was still present. So you see this that I am trying to see overall whether she is feeling well or not. It's not only about headache anymore, but her constipation, her fatigue, everything requires to be involved in this. Again, 1 week of SL was given, thinking that she is comparatively doing slowly and steadily better. Let us see, if I put her on placebo, how does she do. After 1 week, she comes and tells me that before 3 days I had headache over left side, and there was this heaviness sensation. There was no nausea, vomiting, but it got triggered because of exposure to sun, and I was also hungry at that time, so I had to take one painkiller. So I just thought that I require one another dose of Lecosis. Maybe this has intensified, the triggers have worked again on her. So one dose was given, monitoring her and asking her to come back in 1 week. Okay, after 1 week, again, there were no episodes marked back then. Her fatigue was reduced by 40 to 50%, and asking about stool, there was straining, but straining was comparatively less. So again, I felt that it is working, the medicine is working, there are no negative parameters here. So let us put her on SL. Here, 2 week was given. Why? Because the patient had asked for. Otherwise, what usually I do is migraine patient do face acute attacks, and that is why every week follow up is always advised. But if patient ask, 2 week, go for 2 week, and SOS can be given in this case. But she was constantly doing well. All the checkpoints were in hand, so that is why 2 week SL was given to her. After 2 weeks, she came and told me that for since a day I'm currently having headache. Now she had ongoing headache. Okay, it was an acute phase with which she brought me the complaint, and it was right side. Now occasionally, very rarely, she has headache over the right side, but this time it was not left and it was right temple. It was throbbing and the intensity was 7 on 10. It was very sudden and again from sun exposure. It was better with rest and heart pressure, but that didn't work. That just relieved a little bit, few percentage. And apart from this acute ongoing attack, she also said that the stool is moderately hard. There is urge present a little bit, but with a less effort. Her energy levels have overall improved, and no daytime sleepiness is seen. Slight occasional body pain is still present. See, I am now seeing that there is improvement in her constipation, in her energy levels. But right now she is complaining of an acute attack. So I will prescribe her on the basis of her current ongoing headache phase. Do the totality, and whatever acute phase totality comes to you, prescribe the medicine based on that totality. This is what I usually do. Okay, so on the basis of this, when the picture changed, when the totality of the acute phase changed, then even the medicine changed. Belladonna suited the most, and that is why 200 was given in water potency. Why? Because she is a sensitive soul. Water potency was given, and I wanted to repeat it. So every 4 hourly it was given. I asked her that, if the headache just subsides eventually, then stop repeating the medicine on your own. So after a week, she just told me that the further episode, the last episode, was absolutely fine. And ongoing, she completely feels refreshed. There is no morning fatigue or body pain. Overall, her energy levels are good when she wakes up in the morning. What about stool? Now it is the consistency have changed from hard to it is soft. She is able to pass, and that too, the requirement of time is from 10 to 5 to 7 minutes. The urge is still present. Sometimes it's present, sometimes it's not. But once daily, she is going, and alternate day. This thing is happening. So slowly and steadily, you are seeing that, the patient is overall improving. So again, SL was given for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, she said that, she had headache for a day. Again, it was left-sided, but this time it was not better by sleep. It was not even better by heart pressure. She had not even taken painkillers. She just tried, waited, and watched what happens. So this shows that, the person is getting immune to even tolerate her migraine attacks. But I gave her a dose of Lecasis over here and waited and watched what happens in a week. See, during a week of time period, the patients are always free to call me up if they are facing any problem in between. Okay. After a week doesn't strictly mean that the patient are in no contact with me. So after a week, she said that in a week period of time, she had no episodes. Her fatigue was absolutely improving. She felt less fatigue, more energized early in the morning. Her bowel routine was also now fine. The stool consistency was good. There was no waiting, and daily satisfactory stool was passed. So stool constipation checked, good. The refreshness was also fine. Energy levels were checked, and there was no headache episode. And that is why again SL was prescribed to her. Now the patient after 2 weeks was saying that, now doctor, I do not face any headache episode. In past 2 weeks, she had no complaints. She had no headache episode. She had no complaint of constipation, and eventually she also felt energized. She could do her work on her own without any bodily pain. So that is why again she was put on placebo. So what are the takeaway of this case for me is, one, the highlights of this case was evaluation of the case. Right from the beginning, I have put 3, 2, and 1 marking in right from the beginning of the case. This has eventually helped me out in my follow-ups to understand that, the patient, whether they have improved or whether our medicine requires a second thought. Second thing is that headache, or say migraine, she had a chronic complaint of migraine, but there are also acute phases of migraine. During acute phase, if the totality changes, then also my medicine prescription would change, and then it would be followed with a constitutional medicine. On the other hand, differentiation is very important. Not only repertory but also reference of other materia medica becomes very important in this case. Now, why overall picture or taking a detailed history is very important in this case? First thing is to understand the miasm of the patient at present, seeing her past history, family history, her chief complaint, her mental status. She is in her psoric phase. Now migraine in general also, if you see, then the pathophysiology itself says that there are no structural changes in migraine. Okay, and this patient has also not reached anywhere where her routine is disturbed to such an extent that she gets bedridden. Okay, there are no structural changes, and at present she is having in a sora stage, so that is her miasm. Now this is overall picture of this case, and this is how I have proceeded further in the case. If there are any questions, please let me know. That's it from my end. Hello.
So, hello, Dr. Saya Mehta. It's really an excellent session. You really rock the knowledge and your case on the floor, because this kind of presentations are really the need of the hour to power to make show the world that homeopathy can do such wonders in migraine cases, and whatever may be the cases. The case taking is a play an very important role, and you are right. Way of thinking also resulted in such finding out such problems inside the person. Actually, people believe that, oh, it's a case of migraine, so I can give this remedy, this medicine right side, so I'm going to left side axis like that. But actually, it is not the way a homeopathic doctor need to look into. We will have to look into the case in a different way. That is, every homeopath need to find that each and every case is a different one. A new case is a new world we enter. That's what we used to say. And this is what you have done in this case. And congratulations. And this kind of presentation really motivate our junior doctors to move forward. And I express our sincere thanks for delivering such a wonderful presentation here.
Thank you, sir.
And now it's the time for I'm inviting Dr. Selvi Portugal from Turkey to say a few words on the presentation. Yes, please unmute Dr. Selvi.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Mehta. It's a wonderful, excellent case. And I imagine your case in in my opinion. And thank you so much. Very wonderful case, and at the same time, very good treatment. Thank you so much, all of other doctors and Dr. Danesh. Thank you so much, and good evening.
Yes,
Thank you.
if anybody want to communicate with Dr. Sai Mehta, please raise your hand so that we will allow you to unmute yourself and you can speak. And Dr. Ramprasad sir is always there to speak. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dhanesh ji. Everyone, namaskar and congratulations, Dr. Siyami. Very good presentation. Migraine case. Migraine case only practice the homeopathic remedy. Homeopathic is the best treatment. Neurological disease, migraine neurological disorder, throbbing, blasting pain, cause of migraine, only for suppression, anger, grief, anxiety, etc. Yani stress. So cause and treatment, family history, past history, genetic cause, migraine, genetic cause, past history, other disease, treatment, allopathy, excess use of drugs, cause of migraine. So, hormonal cause, many lot of medicine, homeopathic medicine. There are two types: acute type and chronic. Acute type, very good remedy: belladonna, calcarea tar, sanguinaria, Irish bark. And chronic migraine, according to miasmatic role. And natrum is the best remedy. Vascular, Irish vascular is the best remedy. And cause of environmental cause, belladonna, bright heat, sunstroke, etc. So, treatment, homeopathic treatment is the best treatment.
Okay, sir.
Migraine. So very thanks, Dr. Surya Mehta. Thank you again presentation. Ghar homeopathic, har homeopathic.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. It's over to Dr. Vibhu Prasad Pandey, sir.
Hello, I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Dr. Surya Mehta explained
sir.
nicely from the beginning etiology, clinical feature, and as well as prominent medicines and certain cases well explained and well selected medicines. So I appreciate, and this type of presentation need to be shared among our fraternity. She has mentioned that stress is the main factor of migraine. So my question to Shreya Madam, that apart from medicine, what can we do to dilute our stress?
Okay. So, sir, apart from just our medications, because medicine doesn't work 100% unless and until our patients themselves want to be fine with their disease. So, one thing is meditation, yoga, uh, routine. Routine in their lifestyle, which involves if there is any dietary involvement in this, if there are any triggers of a food which would trigger their migraine, along with their sleeping pattern, which requires an improvement. All these things together, not only our medicines, but even from the patient's end, if a certain contribution is obtained, then that would eventually help them out from suffering from further migraine attacks. They are not statistically said to be directly helpful in, subsiding the headache or something, but they would again help to improvise their health, and that would eventually help them, to further intervene with the migraine attacks. So
Okay.
improving their lifestyle is very important.
Our time is already over.
Thank you,
actually.
madam.
Okay,
Thank
thank you,
you.
sir. Over to Ms. Arya to conclude the session with order thanks.
Sir, thank you,
Yes.
ma'am, for that wonderful session. I would like to thank all the members who have joined the seminar, and I'd also like to extend a huge thanks to the IFPH platform for providing such a place for all of us to gather and gather knowledge. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Sayameta, and those who attend the session. Tomorrow we will have a session from Dr. Amit Gunin, and he's an assistant professor, Department of Organ of Medicine, Metropolitan Homeopathic Medical College and Hospital, West Bengal. So hope all of you will join for tomorrow also. You can use the same link for tomorrow also. Over to Dr. P. Shaila to moderate the Malayalam session. Thank you all.